Live, local, late breaking. This is WLKY News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Vicki Dortch. The number of students infected with COVID is growing by the day. Hundreds of students at Silver Creek schools in Sellersburg are now in quarantine. But as WLKY's Drew Gardner explains, despite those numbers, the school board chose not to implement a mask mandate during tonight's meeting.
The board discussed the revised reopening plan during an executive session before the meeting, but when it came up on the agenda, they voted to table it.
In the first 9 days of the school year, the Silver Creek School Corporation has seen 51 students and 2 staff members test positive for COVID-19, leading to hundreds of students being quarantined.
In 6th grade, there are 233 total students. Over 120 of them were quarantined on Friday.
Laura DEMENT is mother to a 6th grader and called on the board to instate a mask mandate for all students and staff.
If our goal is truly to keep all students in school as much as possible, this is the course of action we need to take.
Anything we can do to keep those kids in school, I'm behind 100%. If that means I'm not a mask person, but I'll wear the mask if that means we get to keep these kids in school.
While other local school board meetings have become a battlefield for the debate over masks, that was not the case at Silver Creek. Only 6 people signed up to speak, with only 4 addressing the school's revised reopening plan. Board ultimately, though, opting against taking any action right now.
Nothing's being done in a hasteful manner. We're considering all options. We all do have one common goal, which is to keep the kids in school.
We're going to look at what's best for Silver Creek students and Silver Creek campuses and Silver Creek staff.
The board didn't say when a vote could come on the reopening plan, but they did say it's likely they could call a special meeting before the next board meeting. Reporting in Sellersburg, Drew Gardner, WLKY News.
And according to public health data, in the past week, more than 1,400 new cases were reported in Indiana among K through 12 students. Today, Governor Holcomb voiced support for districts which are requiring masks, but unlike Governor Beshear, he does not plan to issue a statewide order for public schools. Also new at 11, a Kentucky lawmaker wants to prevent the governor or even school boards from requiring masks. Republican Representative Lynn Belcher pre-filed legislation today. It would update state law to stop public schools or universities from implementing mask mandates in the classroom, on buses, or at school-sponsored events. It would also protect daycares from penalties for refusing to require masks. One school district in central Kentucky is closing its doors because of 8 COVID cases among students and staff, the youngest a kindergarten student. Classes in Lee County are canceled through at least Wednesday. This will give the district time to get test results back for teachers in quarantine. The judge executive says the decision was precautionary.
I think people have a right to be concerned, and I know that there are people who are concerned about the imposition on their freedoms, that people are concerned about their health, and all these are valid concerns. Fear is something that's personal.
Only about 42% of people in Lee County are vaccinated. Governor Beshear is expressing concern about the escalating number of people in the hospital with COVID. The state health department reports 2,100 new positive cases. The governor says there are nearly 6,800 cases and 25 deaths in the past 3 days. He warns many hospitals across the state are nearing capacity, which means there may not be room for you or a loved one who needs treatment.
We are at an alarming point. We're pretty close to a critical point. By the end of the week, we're likely to have more people hospitalized right now for COVID than at any point during this pandemic. So take this seriously. Don't fight the things that we know. Help us to protect one another.
Local hospitals are seeing rapid increases in COVID patients. Norton Healthcare has 147 patients, which includes 13 children between the ages of 9 and 15. 4 of those are in the ICU. The chief medical officer at Norton Women and Children's Hospital says there's only one answer to end this latest wave and the pandemic as a whole.
I think the biggest indicator that's going to help us decide which way we're going is to see the vaccination rate increase. That's the biggest variable that will give us those answers.
So far, 2,419,000 Kentuckians have received at least 1 dose of the vaccine. That includes about 459,000 here in Jefferson County.